Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome, the most powerful and wealthy man in the known world. Seneca was one of the richest men in Rome, an imperial advisor, owner of immense fortunes. Epictetus was born a slave. He had nothing. Yet all three followed the same philosophy, Stoicism. And here's what's truly remarkable. They prospered because they were Stoics, not in spite of it. There's a widespread belief that Stoicism is about being poor and suffering in silence. That's a complete myth. Stoics ruled Rome. They built empires. They accumulated wealth. But they did it using principles most people today completely ignore: detachment from outcomes, emotional control, and focus only on what can be controlled. In this video, I'll show you how to apply 7 Stoic principles to build an unshakable mind and a prosperous life. Because in the modern financial world, whoever masters the mind masters money. So are you ready for a philosophy that's over 2,000 years old and still works perfectly today? Let's begin with the most revolutionary Stoic principle for finances: the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." What is up to us? Our judgments, impulses, desires, and aversions. What is not? Our body, property, reputation, and status. Translated into money language, you do not control whether you'll become a millionaire. You do not control the market, the economy, inflation, promotions, or client decisions. But you do control your financial decisions, your effort, your discipline, your education, and how you react to losses. And here's the secret most people miss. 99% of people spend 99% of their energy trying to control what they can't. They obsess over outcomes, bank balances, and comparisons, and that creates paralyzing anxiety. The Stoic does the opposite. They focus obsessively on what they can control, their actions, and calmly accept what they can't. The results. Practical application. Have financial goals. Absolutely. But don't attach yourself to a specific number. Attach yourself to the process. I will study finance 1 hour a day. I will save 20% of my income. I will create value at work. That's what you control. The result will come as a consequence, but it's not where your energy goes. And if you're enjoying this connection between ancient philosophy and modern money, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. There's much more coming. Second Stoic principle, amor fati, love your fate. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not resist what happens. Love even what seems to work against you." It sounds crazy, but it's profound wisdom. It means this: what already happened, happened. You can resist it and suffer, or accept it and use it to your advantage. Lost money on an investment? You can replay it endlessly, blame yourself, and play the victim. Or you can say, "All right, it happened. What did this teach me? How does this make me a better investor?" The Stoic always turns obstacles into opportunities, not because they're naive optimists, but because resisting reality is wasted energy. There's a powerful Stoic phrase: "The obstacle to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your business failed? That's your MBA. You got fired? That's your chance to pivot. The bills don't add up. That's your financial creativity training. Third principle, premeditating adversity. Seneca practiced an exercise called premeditatio malorum, the visualization of worst-case scenarios. Once a month, he lived as if he were poor. Simple food, basic clothes, sleeping on the floor. Why? To realize 2 things. First, he would survive. Second, luxury is optional. Applied to modern finances. What happens if you lose your job tomorrow? If your main income dries up? If an expensive emergency hits? The non-Stoic avoids these thoughts. I don't want to think about that. It gives me anxiety. Then when it happens, panic takes over because they were never mentally prepared. The Stoic does the opposite. They regularly ask, "If I lost everything, how would I survive? What skills do I have? Where could I live cheaply? What work could I do?" Because they're mentally prepared, They take preventive action, building an emergency fund, developing multiple skills, reducing fixed expenses. Here's the paradox. When you meditate on losing everything, you become less anxious because you realize you'll survive. And once fear loses its grip, you can take calculated risks without being paralyzed. Fourth principle, virtue above all else. For Stoics, the only true good is virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Money is a preferred indifferent, better to have than not have, but it doesn't define your worth. This may sound contradictory in a video about prosperity, but it's actually the secret. When you stop worshiping money and focus on developing virtue, you naturally become someone who prospers. Why? Wisdom leads to better decisions. Courage allows necessary risks. Justice builds a strong reputation. Self-control prevents you from destroying what you earn. Seneca was extremely wealthy, yet lived simply. He understood that beyond a certain point, more money doesn't mean more happiness. So he pursued wealth as a tool for a good life and helping others, never as the final goal. And if you're still with me here, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started. Fifth principle, memento mori. Remember that you will die morbid? No. Liberating. Marcus Aurelius wrote constantly about death, about impermanence. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Applied to money, the message is clear. Stop procrastinating. That course you want to take, that business you want to start, that career change you keep postponing. What are you waiting for? Stoics lived, each day with urgency, not desperation, but intention. There's another side to memento mori. It stops you from accumulating just for the sake of accumulating. You are going to die. You take nothing with you. So what's the point of having $10 million if you never use it to live well now and help others? The Stoic seeks enough wealth for freedom and contribution, not endless accumulation without purpose. Sixth principle, focus on the process, not the outcome. Epictetus was radical about this. Never say of anything, I lost it. Say instead, I returned it. You don't lose money. You simply no longer have it. Detach from outcomes. Attach yourself to the quality of your effort. In finance, this changes everything. You don't control how much you'll earn each month, but you do control whether you work with excellence, whether you create real value, whether you serve clients well. When you obsess over the quality of the process and release attachment to results, the results paradoxically improve. Why? Because you're no longer acting out of desperation. You're acting out of excellence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." Translated into money language, don't waste time dreaming about being rich. Do the daily actions of someone who prospers. Seventh principle, voluntary simplicity. Stoics practiced intentional minimalism, not because they were poor, but because they understood that every extra possession brings more worry, more maintenance, more distraction from what truly matters. Seneca owned multiple properties, yet spent most of his time in a simple villa. Marcus Aurelius, even as emperor, lived surprisingly modestly. They knew this truth. The simpler your lifestyle, the less money you need, and the more freedom you have. Modern application. You don't need the huge house, the expensive car, or the overflowing closet to be happy or successful. In fact, those things often trap you. The simpler you live, the more you can invest, the faster you build wealth, the freer you become. There's also a psychological benefit. When you practice voluntary simplicity, you break attachment. You prove to yourself that you are not a slave to consumption. That is power. The 7 Stoic principles for financial prosperity. Let's recap. First, dichotomy of control. Focus on what depends on you. Second, amor fati. Turn obstacles into opportunities. Third, premeditating adversity. prepare mentally for the worst. Fourth, virtue above money, develop character, prosperity follows. Fifth, memento mori, act with urgency, live with purpose. Sixth, focus on the process, excellence in actions, not obsession with results. Seventh, voluntary simplicity, freedom through detachment. Stoicism is not about rejecting wealth, it's about pursuing wealth the right way, with an unshakable mind, without paralyzing anxiety, without destructive greed. It's about being like Seneca, wealthy yet unattached, like Marcus Aurelius, powerful yet humble, like Epictetus, internally free regardless of external conditions. My Stoic challenge for you: for the next 30 days, apply 3 of these principles daily. You might, every morning, list what you control today and what you don't, and commit to focusing only on what you control. Once a week, meditate on losing everything and what you would do. Identify one thing you own but don't need, and let it go. After 30 days, come back and comment on how your financial mindset has changed, because Stoicism is not theory to debate, it's practice to live. If you want more content on philosophy applied to money, this channel also has videos on Buddhism and wealth, Taoism and prosperity, and positive thinking. Like this video if it gave you mental tools to prosper. Subscribe to keep receiving wisdom that has crossed centuries. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single transforming principle. And share this with that friend who's too anxious about money and needs Stoic serenity. Comment below. Which principle impacted you the most? Dichotomy of control? Amor fati? Memento mori? And remember Marcus Aurelius's words: the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Your prosperity does too. Stoic mind, prosperous life isn't a slogan, it's cause and effect. As Seneca said, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. You already have the mental power to prosper. Now you just need to apply principles tested for over 2,000 years. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end. I'll see you in the next video. Already practicing Stoicism, already building an unshakable mind and a prosperous life. Until then.